We anticipated a long day tomorrow, but not such a long one today.
Oh, well. Anyway, let's take you out to Central Avenue and show you what happened out there at just about the time the storm hit. And we are told by police now that there are still several hundred people who are out there still in a party mode on the street despite the weather. Earlier this evening, there was hail on Central Avenue. One of our photographers told us the hail was bopping him on the head, and it was actually quite painful when it was hitting the folks on the streets. But well, the storm moved through and the party continues. Police told us there were no injuries from the hail, as had earlier been reported. Officers had moved up the time when they planned to clear out the party just a little bit. They will clear out the folks on Central Avenue a little after 1 a.m., which is about 6 minutes ago. So the party may be coming to a premature close out on Central Avenue, but
probably doesn't hurt anything at all.
Nothing will be missed.
They're very fortunate out there that they weren't injured because of that lightning you saw earlier. From bridge cam and from our photographers' cameras, we saw the very, very vivid lightning. And as I was driving in, you could really see it in the distance. As I was driving back to the station after taking a break, and I was coming back in about 9 p.m. this evening, you could see vivid lightning strikes. Looked like they were coming right down to the ground. And one of our photographers who was out said he saw it, looked like it hit the 800 building, which is just south of us in downtown Louisville. And there you see some of that lightning as it streaked across the sky with the downtown in the foreground there. He said he saw that hit the 800 building, he thought, and maybe a radio tower. They have many radio towers up there. Maybe a lightning rod scattered it, and it just looked like something had shattered up in the sky. So anyone who was out, especially a group like those on Central Avenue, are fortunate they weren't hurt tonight.
I don't know if we can throw up a shot now of radar in the area, Doppler radar. Can we? Is that possible? And we can give you an indication of where these storms are going. The storm now has the big cell of that storm that affected us in Jefferson County is now almost well outside the range of our radar. You can see it's already moved through Anderson County and is moving down well into Mercer County and has been through Washington County. So that's pretty well out of there. Let's take a look at NextRad radar, and you can see that that's a false echo around Louisville there, but most of the heavy storms, that last heavy cell is now approaching the Lexington, Kentucky area. So those folks are still in a little bit of jeopardy tonight as it affects us, but that's pretty far outside our area right now. Let's go to Beth Andrews, and Beth, you can update this for us now, but it looks like we're just about ready to sound the all clear for everybody in Kentuckiana.
Right. Let's go ahead and take a look at NextRad again. That's a little wider view, and you can see these are the storms that we've been looking at throughout the evening and the nighttime hours. The tornadic storm is here approaching Lexington. What we're looking at to the very northern part of our viewing area, you're getting some thunderstorms firing up. These are not severe. These are thunder showers right now, and they're moving across the very northern fringe of our viewing area, Brown and Bartholomew County. But in Louisville, just ignore all that. That's ground clutter. It's not real. So the storms have passed through Louisville and are now moving east towards Lexington.
All right, Beth Andrews, yeoman service tonight, Beth. Great job, as usual.
Bye, everyone. And as we said, we have crews throughout Jefferson County, primarily in the southern part of the county, taking pictures of the incredible hail that we saw earlier tonight. Those hailstones, you can see them right there. These have melted quite a bit, but they were reported to be about golf ball size in several locations, as someone was kind enough to call Beth and split one hailstone in half and said it had 19 rings. That tells us that means it went up into the atmosphere 19 times. So you can see the hail still there. This is out in the Fern Creek and the Glen Mary area, but we know from your phone calls that it is blowing and blowing and drifting. It sounds like snow, but it was actually drifting along fences and along the roadways. And in fact, George Sells reported earlier this evening that it made Interstate 265 slick. So the Gene Snyder Freeway was actually slick, like it would be in an ice storm.
So we're going to be covering a couple of significant news stories for you over the next 24 hours. The first one, of course, is the weather, and the second one is Derby 122. Our Saturday morning news begins at 6 a.m., and that now is less than 5 hours away. So Doug Proffitt and Ann Doyle will begin to bring you the news in the morning. Prior to this time, if they slept through the storm, they probably thought that they were going to be giving you a preview of the Kentucky Derby, which I'm sure they will, but they were also going to be using a lot of the video that has been shot at the last few hours, including thunder, lightning, hail, and all of the other things that went into this early spring storm that moved through Kentuckiana. So you want to be sure and stay with the News Channel tomorrow morning, and just as we've stayed with you tonight through this storm, we're going to continue to cover the aftermath of the storm. There's probably plenty of damage to report out there that we have not yet found, and when the sun comes up, we're going to see it more clearly throughout the area. And we understand even at this hour, one of our reporters, Mark Hebert, who has been out, is on the way back with some damage and some video to report to you. So 2 stories to tell you about throughout the Derby day tomorrow, and one of them is going to be the story of the weather, the other the story of the big race, which we assume will go off as usual without a hitch.
And I have a feeling when people aren't watching the races on television tomorrow, they may be up on their roofs checking for damage. You'll see a lot of people walking around up there tomorrow, because really in the daylight hours you can identify that damage, and as I know from personal experience, a lot of times you cannot see it unless you get up there and you look down, and then you can see the divots in
hailstones. Hailstones like that, our experience in our neighborhood the last time this happened, will kill a roof. Your roof will be ruined. So even if you don't think, you know, it looks bad from a distance, get a professional roofing guy to go up on the roof and look it over, and he'll be able to tell you if you've got any damage. And I'll tell you what, with hailstones that large, 10 out of 10 times you're going to have significant damage to a roof.
And again, a lot of people are reporting that it has taken off the paint on their cars, and we heard one of our gentlemen call in and tell us that it looked like someone had taken a hammer to one of their vehicles all over the hood and the roof of that vehicle, and a lot of damage to vehicles if they were sitting outside when that hail came through. And by looking at this on the videotape, you can understand that it would do a lot of damage, just like little marbles hitting that many times, that would add up to about 2 or 3 inches deep.
If this was last year, I'd pick Thunder Gulch again.
I think that would be a good bet. We do have who do we have tomorrow? Halo Sunshine. I think
let's hope that one is.
I think we'll be ready
winner,
for that one, won't we?
Well, if the producer could tell me in my ear, do we have any other places to go? Any more coverage to do? Okay. All right, we thank you for staying up. We thank those of you who have called in to help us with our coverage tonight. As always, the folks in Kentuckiana are so kind as to call us with information throughout the area. And those of you that called and we were able to visit with on the phone, and those of you that suffered damage, we hope that you'll be able to bounce back quickly and your lives will be put back in quick order, and we can enjoy what we call a happy Derby tomorrow. Happy
Derby. It is almost 1:15 in the morning, Derby day now. So try to get some sleep, try to enjoy your day tomorrow, and as far as we know, very, very few, if any, injuries because of this very severe storm. We appreciate you sticking with us, and we hope we've been able to help you this evening until later today.
Yes, we'll see you on Derby Day, about 10:30 tomorrow morning, and our coverage starts at 6 a.m.
Good night.
Now the camera's right over there.
This is a Storm Team weather report.
And good morning, everyone. I'm Gary Roedemeier, once again with Mark Hebert, who has just returned from the Central Avenue area. He was doing one of our stories for the upcoming Derby, more than 24 hours, when the storm hit, and you have some rather interesting video of what happened out there when people got hit by rain and hail and whatever.
Well, everybody seemed to be fine at the time the rain started. Everybody was still packing Central Avenue as they always do. There's a huge crowd out there drinking beer and pretty much under control. But then when the hail came, it all changed. And so we're going to show you some video right now of when the hail and the tornado warnings went up on Central Avenue about an hour and a half ago.
There is a tornado warning out. It's been reported that a tornado has touched down in Butchertown. Please seek shelter. Please seek shelter. Clear the street. Take cover.
But the crowd did not clear the streets, as you can see. They just hung around. They didn't seem too worried. The lightning was striking. The hail was hitting them on the head, and believe me, it hurt. There was a huge hailstorm out there. Folks were still in the streets. The crowd was still reveling in it. Folks had gone up on the porches seeking shelter, the porches of the homes along that area, and as you can see, there was a huge amount of hail. Police and EMS crews were trying to clear the streets. People were still out in it. They were worried a tornado was going to touch down and was going to wipe out all of Central Avenue there tonight. So it was a pretty hairy scene there for a little while. A couple of other stories we ran into afterwards. The vendors that line Central Avenue there, a number of them said they just lost thousands of dollars in sales because the crowd thinned out a little bit. And another guy said that he gave refuge to some folks inside his tent trying to protect them from the hail, and they stole a bunch of sweatshirts and T-shirts from him. He suspects he lost about $2,000 worth of merchandise. So some folks trying to be nice on Central Avenue tonight in this wild hailstorm and tornado warnings, etc. Didn't pay off for them to be nice.
To the best of your knowledge, anybody hurt other than being stung by hail?
Well, Todd Eckloff and I were there, and we had an umbrella up. And I thought people were throwing things at me. I thought I was getting pelted with something because the umbrella kept getting hit.
To be expected sometimes on Central Avenue.
Yeah, I thought maybe I was getting hit with a beer or something, but instead it was giant hailstones. As far as we know, no one was hurt, although we do understand from EMS that some young lady did deliver a baby during the middle of this hailstorm. They had to get her to the hospital in the middle of all this.
My goodness.
So it's pretty wild.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Ken Schulz, who has taken over for Beth Andrews now. And Ken, most of this storm has moved out of the area. How are things looking right now and as we approach the morning hours?
Well, we have what looks to be a large area of rain over us, and there could be a few showers still left in the Louisville area, but frankly, all this is pretty much false echoes. The storms that rolled out of southern Indiana into the Louisville area about midnight last night, this morning, have now pushed off to the east. You can see their motion tracking off to the east. The intensity of the storms around Lexington have diminished. All warnings now that are in effect are for areas east of Lexington, east of Interstate 75, and all these showers and thunderstorms are tracking to the east. Technically, we're still under a severe thunderstorm watch for another 25 minutes, but no additional severe weather expected here. Eastern Kentucky is under a severe thunderstorm watch until 5 o'clock this morning, but the threat for severe weather is now to the east of Interstate 75 and pushing on off towards West Virginia. So all the warnings have been canceled for our viewing area. The watch is going to expire eventually here this morning, about 25 minutes from now. Again, no additional severe weather. Now, there is another band of showers and thunder showers across parts of central Indiana back into central Illinois. About an hour ago, those were impressive, but they have weakened somewhat over the last half hour to 45 minutes. So not expecting any additional severe weather out of that. Of course, we'll continue to watch the situation through the morning, but at the moment, the worst is over. No additional severe weather is anticipated for the balance of the morning hours. I will tell you that this afternoon and tonight, as we warm back up to 80 degrees and we have a frontal system close by, we could regenerate more showers and thunderstorms in the region. Again, we'll take care of that issue later on today, but there is that chance for some thunderstorms late today and again on into Saturday night. So that's it. Watch expires here at 2 o'clock this morning, but no additional severe weather anticipated. Gary,
all right,
Mark.
Thank you very much, Ken. And pending a winner tomorrow, weather becomes the story for Derby 122. We'll continue to cover this story throughout the night. We have a full crew here. We want to thank those that stayed extra over tonight to continue to cover this in addition to their regular duties for Derby 122, which are extensive, as you know.
And you know what, Gary? Wouldn't it be ironic if the same folks that were getting hit with hail tonight get hit with sunburn tomorrow?
It's a very good possibility. Temperatures in the 80s, and then maybe more storms tomorrow night. So
stick around. You never know what kind of weather you're going to get hit with in Kentucky, especially Derby weekend.
I think it was Mark Twain that said that first time around. That was back in the 19th century. Thank you very much for staying up with us. We now return to regular programming. Our Saturday morning news starts at 6 a.m. Good night for just a while.
This is Kentuckiana's News Channel, WHAS 11.